Hello, Scorpio. Let us take a quiet breath together before we step into the heart of what the stars are asking of you. What rises before you now is not a casual prediction or a passing suggestion that can be ignored until the timing feels right. It is a clear, celestial summons. A signal that you are being drawn into a season where your hidden strength, your endurance, and your ability to face the shadows without flinching will be tested in ways you may have long suspected but never fully acknowledged. You are being asked to step into a position that demands not just fragments of your willpower, but the entire depth of your soul. And the universe is no longer whispering this truth softly in the background. It is placing it directly in your path where you can no longer avoid its weight. For Scorpio, this call carries a different texture than it does for other signs. You are not simply being asked to lead in the visible sense, to stand at the front of a room, or to be celebrated for what you accomplish. Instead, the call comes from beneath the surface, from the hidden currents of your life, where influence is quiet but profound, where transformation begins in the unseen places before it can ripple outward. The celestial alert arriving at this time asks you to embody the role of one who can carry darkness and still bring clarity, to step forward when others collapse into confusion, and to recognize that your natural gift has always been your ability to endure what others cannot bear. This is not about shining for applause, it is about holding a steady flame in the storm so that others may find their way through. Every challenge you have faced, every betrayal that forced you to rebuild your trust in life, every moment when you felt you were carrying a burden too heavy to name, all of these have been a form of preparation. They were not punishments. They were a slow forging of the kind of strength that cannot be borrowed, bought, or imitated. The universe does not place this kind of responsibility in the hands of someone untested. And Scorpio, you have already been tested more than you realize. What is coming is not meant to crush you, but to reveal that the strength you thought was survival alone is actually leadership in its most essential form. This is the beginning of a long unfolding path, one that will ask you to give up the illusion of safety in exchange for the reality of purpose. The question that now stands before you is not whether you want to take this role, but whether you are willing to stop hiding the capacity you already carry. In the days ahead, the summons will grow louder and circumstances will demand decisions that show you who you are becoming. The story does not end here. It stretches forward into the trials, the revelations, and the responsibilities that are already aligning in your favor. And as we move deeper into this journey, you will see how the universe has been moving every piece into place, shaping not just the challenges, but the support and the clarity you will need to rise fully into what is being asked of you. Scorpio, the essence of this challenge is that the time of waiting is over. This is no longer a rehearsal in which you quietly imagine how strong you might be one day. Nor is it a private dream about what you could become if the circumstances ever aligned. The circumstances are here, and they are pressing against you with undeniable force. You are being pushed beyond the boundaries of your comfort, stripped of the old protections that allowed you to retreat when things became too overwhelming, and placed squarely in the center of choices that will not only shape your own direction, but will also leave a lasting mark on those around you. This is why the pressure feels so sharp, why you may notice the gaze of others fixed on you in ways that feel both uncomfortable and unavoidable. Because the universe is making it impossible for you to slip into the shadows where you once felt safe. The scrutiny that now surrounds you is not meant to weaken you, though it will expose every hesitation you carry. It is meant to refine you, to draw out the parts of you that can stand firm, even when every eye is watching and every voice is waiting to see what you will do. And the decisions you are being asked to make will ripple far beyond your own life. They will test how deeply you are willing to stand in your truth when others might resist it, how much you can trust your inner compass when the path is clouded with doubt, and how willing you are to step into the role of quiet authority that has been marked for you all along. This is the transition from imagining to living, from preparing to acting. And once you take this step forward, there will be no turning back to the smaller version of yourself that once felt sufficient. Scorpio. Now that you understand the essence of the challenge, that this is no longer preparation but the living reality of what your soul has been trained for, we need to look deeper into how this summons will manifest for you. It does not arrive as a vague promise that you can interpret loosely. It arrives with precision, woven into the very day you entered this world, shaping the flavor of the lessons you are about to encounter. Each cluster of Scorpio births carries its own imprint, its own signature of how destiny will press against you in this season. And as we step into these details, you may find yourself recognizing patterns that have already begun to unfold in your life. That recognition is not accidental. It is the signal that you are aligned with the celestial current that is moving through you right now. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, the summons will come most clearly through the realm of family and the intimate circles that surround you. It is here, in the private spaces of your life, that the greatest challenges will demand your attention. You may find yourself suddenly cast into the role of mediator in a family conflict that threatens to tear relationships apart, or perhaps an elder, a parent, or someone whose presence has long been the anchor of your family will face a crisis that requires you to step into responsibilities you once believed belonged to others. What this season demands of you is not a willingness to impose control, but the ability to hold fractured people together, to keep the threads of belonging intact when fear and grief could otherwise sever them. You will not always feel ready. You will wonder if you are being asked to give too much. And yet, in the moments when everything feels most unstable, you will notice something remarkable. Your presence calms the chaos. You may not be able to fix everything, but by standing firm, by refusing to abandon those who look to you, you become the unspoken center that others instinctively gather around. This is the mark of your summons in the private sphere. You become the anchor when the storm rises. For Scorpios born between November 3rd and November 12th, the summons takes root not within family, but within the professional and public world. It is here that your capacity for resilience, strategic thinking, and unwavering focus will be tested. In the weeks ahead, you may notice projects resurfacing that had long been delayed, or opportunities arising in your work that seem almost too demanding to accept. Where others see difficulty, you will be seen as the one capable of carrying the transformation. Colleagues, supervisors, or even rivals may look to you, not because you asked for the spotlight, but because circumstances leave them no choice. Your task is to lead without arrogance, to embody a form of leadership that does not seek applause but rather commits to the hard labor of change. This may mean reorganizing a failing structure, guiding a team through uncertainty, or pioneering an idea that initially faces resistance. It will stretch you in ways that reveal just how much you can endure without breaking. And it will force you to let go of the temptation to hide your brilliance. The universe is calling you into visibility. And while that may feel like exposure, it is also the stage upon which your true gifts are meant to be exercised. This is where Scorpio's natural intensity becomes a resource, because where others would retreat under pressure, you are capable of using pressure to sharpen your vision. For Scorpios born between November 13th and November 21st, the summons is profoundly personal. It is not about family expectations or professional recognition. It is about becoming the living embodiment of transformation itself. This season will ask you to walk directly into your own limitations and prove that they are not as fixed as they appear. Old wounds may resurface, reminding you of where you once felt powerless or unseen. Old fears may whisper, convincing you that you are not enough, that you are still the person who failed, who lost, who was betrayed. But this is exactly where the test lies. The universe is not punishing you with these reminders, it is confronting you with them so that you can finally dismantle the illusions that have held you back. Your life becomes the example, the evidence to others that what seems impossible to overcome can, in fact, be overcome. This means that your choices, your growth, and even your scars will carry weight far beyond your own healing. Others will watch your quiet persistence, your refusal to collapse, your willingness to rebuild, and they will find courage for their own battles. It is a path that feels solitary. But in truth, it is deeply communal because by choosing to transform, you show others that transformation is possible. What unites all of these groups of Scorpios, whether your call arrives through family, career, or the intimate landscape of your own soul, is the reality that you cannot step backward into the old version of yourself. The safe patterns, the roles that allowed you to remain unseen, the stories you once told yourself about why it was easier to avoid responsibility, all of these are dissolving. And though you may resist this dissolution, you cannot deny that something greater is being born through you. This is not the time for Scorpio to shrink or to retreat into secrecy. No matter how natural secrecy may feel, it is the time to stand, to reveal, to accept the responsibility that comes with the gifts you carry. Let us be honest about what this means. You will be scrutinized. Those around you will project expectations that sometimes feel crushing. Your mistakes will not go unnoticed. You may feel as if the privacy you once cherished has been stripped away. And yet, what you gain in return is far more valuable, the experience of living aligned with the truth of your design. You were never made to live an ordinary life. Scorpio, you were made to pierce illusions, to guide others through darkness, and to embody transformation in a way that few can. This is why the universe presses so hard against you. It is not cruelty, it is recognition. Recognition that you, and only you, can hold the space that is opening now. As this summons deepens, you will begin to feel the subtle shifts. Conversations will carry hidden invitations, as if others sense your strength even before you do. Circumstances will align in uncanny ways, presenting challenges that seem to arrive precisely to reveal your capacity. You may notice an energy building around you, a kind of magnetic pull that draws others into your orbit. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are the signs that your frequency is already changing, that your soul is broadcasting a signal of readiness even when your mind still hesitates. The weight of this responsibility will not always feel glorious. There will be nights of exhaustion, moments of doubt, hours when you long to return to the simplicity of anonymity, but within those very struggles lies the essence of your calling. Because leadership, for Scorpio, is not about applause, it is about endurance. It is about showing that transformation is not a concept, but a lived reality. And when you live this reality, when you embody it without pretense, you become the catalyst not only for yourself, but for everyone who crosses your path. So whether you are a Scorpio called to hold your family together, a Scorpio called to lead in the realm of work, or a Scorpio called to become the living example of personal transformation, the message is the same. This is your time. You have been forged through years of unseen struggle, through nights when you thought you would not survive, through wounds that forced you to discover resilience you did not know you carried. Now all of that preparation culminates in this season, where you are no longer allowed to imagine what you could become, you are required to live it. And as you live it, you will discover something profound. The fear that has long whispered in your ear that you are not enough, that you will fail, that others will see through you was never the truth. The truth is that you were shaped precisely for this role, that the weight you carry is matched by the strength you possess. and that your life is not a random sequence of pain and recovery, but a carefully forged key designed to unlock the possibilities of this very moment. Scorpio, the universe is asking you to stop waiting, to stop doubting, to stop hiding behind the walls of safety. The call has arrived, and it has your name on it. Step forward. The pressure you feel now is not meant to destroy you, but to reveal the diamond that has always been within. Scorpio. The core lesson at the heart of this summons is one you may have quietly suspected for years, but never allowed yourself to fully believe every wound. Every betrayal, every long night of questioning, and every season where you felt stripped bare of certainty was never wasted. These were not detours. They were the exact conditions needed to temper your spirit, to carve depth into your soul, and to prepare you for a role that only you could fulfill. The universe did not wait for you to declare yourself ready, because readiness in the ordinary sense will never exist for a task of this magnitude. Instead, you were shaped from the beginning for this weight, sculpted through fire and pressure into someone capable of carrying responsibilities that would have broken a weaker heart. This is why you are here now, standing at the edge of a demand you cannot dismiss. Because what is rising before you is not an accident, but the very purpose for which you were designed. But let us not cover this in illusions of ease. The path that unfolds is not a gentle one. It comes with long stretches where the silence will feel heavier than words, where the burden of being the one others look to will feel almost unbearable, and where loneliness will creep in because few can walk beside you at the depth you are being called to walk. Responsibility will weigh on you like stone, and the temptation to retreat into the shadows will rise again and again. Yet within this very pressure lies the truth of your power. For Scorpio, the design has always been about transformation, about walking into what others fear, about holding the weight of endings so that new beginnings may emerge. The summons now is simply a magnification of what you have always been. Yes, there will be eyes on you. Yes, your choices will echo in ways that reach further than you expect. And yes, the solitude of true responsibility may at times leave you longing for the anonymity you once had. But the reward hidden within this cost is nothing less than the chance to live aligned with your original design, to stop diluting your presence, to stop pretending you are smaller than you are, to embody the influence that has always pulsed within you, not for recognition, not for applause, but because the world needs what only you can carry. Scorpio, the warning is clear. The price of living your full truth is the end of your comfort. Yet the promise is equally clear if you accept it. You will finally see yourself as you were always meant to be, a source of light that steadies others in the dark, a presence that inspires transformation without needing to force it, and a life that becomes not only a journey of survival, but a living testament to the power of rising through fire and becoming more. Scorpio, as we arrive at the end of this message, let us pause and breathe together. Because what has been spoken is not light, and yet it is entirely yours. The universe is not giving you an abstract warning. It is placing before you the mirror of your own becoming. What you see in that reflection may still unsettle you, because it shows a version of yourself that is larger, stronger, and more visible than the one you have allowed the world to see until now. But make no mistake, this is who you have always been. Every trial, every fall, every resurrection was the proof. You were never walking blindly. You were being forged for this exact moment in time. The closing truth is simple. Though it will not always be easy to live, the time for preparation is over. The masks and excuses that once felt protective are now dissolving, and the choice is no longer whether you will lead, but how you will lead. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not what the cosmos requires of you. It requires willingness. Willingness to step forward when others hesitate. Willingness to trust the instincts that have never failed you when you dared to listen. Willingness to embrace both the weight and the gift of being the one who can see through illusion and hold others steady as they falter. Yes, the road will be heavy. Yes, there will be nights when loneliness presses in. But the reward is the profound satisfaction of living in alignment with your original design, of knowing that your life is no longer a quiet survival, but a beacon, a signal that inspires transformation in those who witness it. You are not asked to be perfect. Scorpio, you are asked to be real, to show up fully, to allow your depth, your resilience, and your courage to carry their true weight in the world. So when the pressure builds, when the tests arrive, when the eyes of others feel like they are burning into you, I remember this, you were made for this. You were chosen not in spite of your scars, but because of them. You are not stepping into a role that is foreign to you, you are stepping into the truth of who you have always been. And in doing so, you will discover a freedom deeper than comfort, a strength greater than fear, and a legacy that will outlive even your own name. Scorpio, the call has already been sent. The universe has already decided. All that remains is for you to say yes